welcome to another Bangertorial. So thank you very much for coming along. And one thing I think we really do need to talk about is the nutcases in London at the moment, the climate change protesters who are gluing themselves to the tops of trains and buildings and parking boats in the middle of Oxford Circus. Because they are obviously completely wrong-headed, but the incredible thing is I'm in a tiny minority because they have managed to get themselves an audience with the government to complain about all their climate concerns. I'm sure if I glued myself to something in London in order to complain about the car tax or car taxes and fuel tax and stuff, I would just be arrested and put in prison and forgotten about. So I really don't understand why, because you put climate in front of it, you're allowed to basically do what you want, and certainly the police seem to let them do what they want, which is great. I don't live in London, so I don't go there, so that's great. It didn't affect me and my inconvenience, but the agenda is to ban the car and ban basically a Western lifestyle, really. If you're doing Bangernomics, you're doing more than just about anybody, and certainly people who buy electric cars will ever do for the planet. And the most worrying aspect of this is that it's slipped into the school curriculum. So children are being taught in 12 years' time we're all going to be underwater, dead, dancing with polar bears and stuff like that. I think Al Gore said the same thing in a film 20 years ago. I think by now we're supposed to be doing all that, and it hasn't happened. And interestingly, a book about a car, it was called The Automotive Nightmare, and it was by a chap called Alistair Aird. And the essential premise of this book is saying how terrible cars are. They will pollute you to death, they will run you over, if they crash they'll kill you, you're wasting your money on them, they're out of date in 5 minutes, and running costs are outrageous. And yeah, he had some good points, because there is actually a lot of supporting references there, so he wasn't just ranting like I am. He was actually pointing to proof, documents and government reports and things like that. But if you read it, you'd say, well, in 1972, when it came out, if you read it, you would have said, well, in 5 years' time, they'll probably ban cars completely because they're so awful if this book is correct. And also, this, the premise of the book was, we'll all be polluted to death and we'll be dead in no time. Certainly, it was quoting about the 1980s. But it didn't happen. And cars aren't that bad because engineers are very clever people. Motor engineers are. If you tell them to do something, make something run on carrot juice, actually they will be able to do it. And what we've got now is an agenda to sort of stop our way of life. And I don't quite know what we do to avoid all this, because they seem to be listening to these slightly mad people. There doesn't seem to be a voice of opposition in any way, just sort of saying, just hold on there, the points you're making aren't actually correct. And I think the reason is because governments love control, and if they think there's a movement to restrict or control people, that's what they are going to get on board with, because they just think, great, we can tell people what to do, we can tax them more, and that's what the majority of all these things are about. It's just taxing you more so that you have less freedom in your life. So I'm not quite sure what you do, whether you just go to your Member of Parliament and complain about things. I don't know if we join the AA or IC, which don't seem to represent us really anymore. But maybe this is, right now, we are living in the automotive nightmare, because in a few years' time there won't be cars, because they will have banned them, because some person with a boat in Oxford Street told them to, or Emma Thompson. So there you go. Thank you very much for watching. I'm not happy, but I will be back next time. Please subscribe and like and ask any questions and comment. That'd be great. So thank you very much, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.